Well, happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Jacob's Ladder. And did you know that it's a wrap? That's right. I am your host, Jacob Israel, and I am happy that you're all here. Thank you for joining me on a wonderful Sunday afternoon. It's a big anniversary today. If you're watching this on the replay, I'm glad you're here too, because everything happens when it's supposed to be. Maybe you leave a little one in the comment if you agree. How about them apples? Today's the big day. It's the anniversary of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. Whew. That was a day in American history. So many stories surrounding all of it. But today is about wackadoo, crazy little ideas and theories, speculation that perhaps is a little bit off the rails. Or is it? Because the rap that I'm talking about is not just a snack rap that is, well, it just came out at 10:31. It's a rap for maybe a party. That is another word for sorcery and witchcraft. That's what a lot of people are saying. They're saying that MAGA could be on the outs, that it's divided. It's a divided house, and we know a house that is divided cannot stand. Got a lot of people here already. Derek made it. True Blue. Jude. What's up, Rock? Rapture Revelations. Controversial Cali. I'm glad that you're here. We got a lot to get into, so we're going to start with today's news. And the news is, while it should be like, oh, wow, we had a huge thing happen, it's all about this party being split over a list that we're being told to forget about. It's ironic, right? People tell you enough times, don't think of this, don't think of this. All you can do is think about it. Mark Atwood put something out about that. What are we doing? Move on. Why are we talking about this list? Because there's a reason for it. We were told to be outraged before it came out. If you didn't catch my last show, you should, because it's very eye-opening on this whole thing. But let's take this piece by piece. Got a lot of people here. Do me a favor. Now that you're here, smash the like. Let me know in the comments section if you're excited to dig into McDonald's and Trump administration, kooky speculation. Freaked out. This is what they're saying. He's saying that Donald Trump is freaked out, and he's trying desperately to get everybody to just cut it out. He's like losing it, right? That's what a lot of people are saying. He said the guy who never dies in regards to these files, which got a lot of people saying, well, maybe that's because he's not dead. These are some of the things that we're hearing online. How terrible would that be? Some saying witness protection. Do you remember after he passed away, we heard stories of how his neck was broken and all of this stuff. I'm not going to relitigate all of this, but that's what, for whatever reason, they want us to. They want us to pay attention to the fact that nothing's coming out. Now, what would be the point of that? We even have news today. This is like breaking news, so if you're here, there is speculation. People think that the Bongino, who you probably remember him very, very well for being, somebody like me who left enforcement to come over and be like a podcaster who's in charge of these things. It is a cast of characters, and it's ironic, the page that we're in. 1 year after the event that seemed to unite everybody, brought together dark MAGA and MAGA together, like the white magic and the dark magic coming together as one. Happened to come together on the same night as Amazon's Wizards meeting, ironically. But the guy who never dies, he's urging his base to end this, stop thinking about this, and all he's doing is posting about it. But in an interview just recently, he was reflecting on this incident that took place in Butler. Ooh. When the grazed his ear? Strange, because there's a coincidence. I'm coming up on a 1-year anniversary as well. 7 days. 7 days after he gets pierced in his ear. I get pierced in mine at a 1776 golf course, the Culper Spy Ring course, hit by a Jeep Patriot. Very strange, all of these connections. But President Trump said that he's reflecting on this crazy, that's what he called it, the shooting that took place nearly a year ago. And he says he still feels the pain in his ear. A lot of course, pictures going around. This is what his ear looks like. This is what Mike Tyson's ear. I don't care. You know, this is what I would like you to take out of this, is that let God be true and every man a liar. So just accept it. Okay, that's the story. I'm willing to try to now dig into the spiritual application of it. I was talking about ears and all of that stuff before it. In fact, I was talking about a lot of strange things before it. In fact, the very famous pose that you see in the right corner of the screen, where he is triumphant, fight, fight, fight. Remember that? Got everybody amped up, brought everybody together, brought the Musk in, and then it would spiral out of control till Musk's on stage with a chainsaw, and then the two of them are throwing around insults, and the whole thing is a crumbling down. Oh, man, I'm happy. Give me a smash of the like, will you, if you're as excited as I am. Daryl Brown's here, Sister G, Claire Ann, Rapture Revelations, Daniel, Strange and Curious. Hello. I feel like that show that I used to watch when I was a kid, I think it was like The Magic Garden. I see you. I see you. I see you all. Make sure you say hi in the comments section and then later so I could see you later too. But you know, there's a lot of interesting timing about this. And what's really strange is the bottom right-hand corner, if you take a look at that, that's the crook. That's Thomas Matthew the Crook. He was actually in 2023, like a year before this whole thing happened. Not even like a year. He was in a promotional video for BlackRock. Do you remember that? You know BlackRock, they ate everything up. They own everything. I think they just bought like a bunch of Ethereum. If you're into crypto, I'm not the guy for that, but I told you a long time ago I bought some Doge because it's backwards, it's EGOD, and I said there's going to be a digital currency. Well, the Trump administration, I'm bringing you up to speed on that too. Huge moves in crypto. That's why everything's surging. I think Doge is over 20 cents or something, which is great for me because I never sold. But I want to draw your attention to some strange timing. Now, what does this mean? Does it mean anything? I don't know. Sometimes I'll put posts up and then it'll happen. Like in a short period of time or in a period of time that we're used to, like a number coincidence. But there were a lot of number coincidences between events like President Trump's mugshot coming out and the attempt. It was 10 months, 19 days, 9/11 backwards, which means emergency. 73 days between his mugshot and the new portrait that came out. And 73 is a goodbye code in radio. 187 days, which is code for something really bad, between the attempt and the new portrait. I put that out obviously beginning in January, but I talked about all of these events earlier, and I said, pray no swerve, because I feel like there's another big swerveroo on the horizon. Devana, you like my humor? I'll give you a wave for that. Thank you very much. That's a wave. Not like this. When I wave I go like this. That's what I do. The event that took place in Butler, this is the 1-year anniversary. This is a significant day. That's why you'll probably hear some significant news later today. I'm getting this out of the way. I'm going to rhyme because I like to rhyme and I'm a poet in every way. All right, let's take a look at this. I'm getting carried away. I'm having a good time. Exactly 1 year ago today, the news broke that 45 and 47, which, by the way, what's 45 and 47 add up to? We know 9/11. Yeah, 9/11. Interesting. 9/11, by the way, was when my Shiloh, people asked, they say, what is this picture over here? Is this some stranger? That's my daughter, Shiloh, and it's a picture. She did like a self-portrait with like sticks and rocks and sand and everything else, and I always loved it. Someone offered to buy that for like a lot of money too, like $1,000 for her. And we said, no. I said, I'm putting that on my set. I have all the stuff that they give me on my set because I love my children very much. She gave me this because I love elephants. This was my birthday gift. All right, get back on track, right? I get it. All right, exactly 1 year ago, the news broke. Now, this was a turning point, okay? This is where Dark MAGA joins the fray. Now, I want to point this out, okay? I'm just gonna blow this up so you can actually see this and move this out of the way. All right, take a look at this. Do you remember this post that I had a dream? I had a weird dream, and I said, Dark MAGA is about to shock the world. You remember that? That was before Dark MAGA came out. It was actually 4 months and 11 days before Dark MAGA was coined. But ironically enough, guess what it was between that and the event? So I have this weird dream. Dark MAGA is about to shock the world. Next level craft to literally be revealed. 17 days later is when it all went down. That's wild. Now, the bottom, you see right there, when the Dark Wizard and the White Wizard met on Amazon Prime's The Lord of the Rings prequel, they met. It was almost identical in timing because I was watching the premiere of this on Prime, and I'm watching what was going down in Butler. It was just, the whole thing was weird. It felt very significant. It felt like maybe there was some shenanigans going on. Who knows about shenanigans? Do you think that they use sorcery and witchcraft and everything else? Let me put it in terms that you understand. How about propaganda? Okay, because that's like a spell. It gets you under a spell. Dan and I were just talking. We were driving, and there was a young I don't know. He looked like he was, maybe he was a Chinese young man. Okay, so I don't know. He could have been Japanese. It was far away. But he was wearing a mask, which led me to believe that he's, from China. He was wearing a mask, and he was driving alone with the windows open in the car. And I thought, this poor young guy. But it brought me back to when the virus of the crown first hit. That's coronavirus, the virus of the crown. We're supposed to have the crown. We were infected in our thinking. I went to like the store when they allowed us to go back to the store. I was wearing rubber gloves, sunglasses, and 2 masks like a freaking lunatic, right? I thought that I was in the know because you know what? I didn't get it. I got fooled the first time. And then when things started to come together, I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I don't need to be that scared. Everyone in my family ended up getting it. The children first, all of them went right around the house except for me. I don't think I ever did. I may have gotten it once and not known it. Everybody was fine, but they put a spell on me. They put a spell on you. They thought they were doing a part. My wife and I went outside and we banged pots for the healthcare workers. I'm not doing, don't judge me. Don't judge me because I always want to think the best. And I had seen this stuff and I thought, they were clever, right? They were clever. Because I was seeing all this stuff happen and I was saying something's coming long before it even happened. So I thought I was ahead of the curve and I thought I had to really, really worry. But I realized fear is never the way to make rational decisions. And that's what they wanted. So I started thinking a little more, we'll say, logically. I started trusting in God a little bit more. And I held your hand through all of it, if you remember correctly, because everybody was very scared. You probably forget. I got over my fright very early on, but a lot of people were under a spell. Now here we are. We got people doing all sorts of salutes from all of their events, and they're all divided, and all the things and all the promises and everything that was said to be done, that was going to be done, it was not really done, except for maybe some of it is happening. Maybe some of this is going according to plan. Maybe there's all a reason for it. There's all a reason for it. God is in charge, right? I think that all this is working up to something, so I'm not too stressed about it. I'm definitely not stressed about war so much as this alligator Alcatraz thing that's going everywhere. Remember I told you? Now Kristi Noem just came out and she just gave a whole speech about how it's going 5 states now. 5 states. But she didn't list the governors. She asked, can I name you? They're probably like, no, not right now. But on the flip side of the coin, look at what we just learned about the farm in California. The old pot farm, where the children were working there. Underage, migrant children. Trafficked, most likely. This is what a lot of the organizations are saying. Newsom came out and he said they're the backbone of our, come on, children. This is something that I said was going to be revealed. That was the Gilded Age. Remember back in the day when I said when the Golden Age was coming, I said, you're going to learn about all of this stuff. And then here it is in our face. But there's not anything that really surprises me as much as Donald Trump saying that he's going to take away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. I mean, does that make any sense to any of you? I actually put a post out about this, and I asked, what people were thinking about it. And I wanted to know whether or not they thought that this was perhaps maybe going a little bit too far because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell's not in the best interest of our great country, as if any celebrity is in the best interest of our country. These celebrities, come on, It's very strange, but she is very critical of Donald Trump. She goes, I'm giving serious condition to taking away her citizenship. And then he goes on to say that she's a threat to humanity. I feel like that's going a little bit too far. I feel like, there are many threats to humanity right now with people that are in charge, that are allowing bombing of hospitals and on all sides, my friends. It's happening everywhere, not just here. There are making some strides. Trump's going in and he's making some deals. These are things that he's very upset that people are forgetting about. They're forgetting about how he brokered a deal between India and Pakistan, 3 days, like I said, Operation Sindoor. Forgetting about Iran and Israel, how he brought an end to that. 3 days, Jonas, 3 days, like I said. It's very strange. So I feel like God's in charge of all this, but then I see these things and I'm going, what are you doing, Donald? Are you trying to get people to really turn on you? So I think to myself, he's a smart man. He can't be this triggered. There's got to be something more. She is a threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland if they want her. God bless America. They're saying that he was joking. But birthright citizenship is something that Donald talked about back in 2000, going into his first presidency. I covered it. I did a couple of videos. I did one video in 2019. I said, look, it's going to happen. And I'm telling you again, it's probably going to happen. If you're not going to be somebody that's going to really contribute to society and you're getting in the way of the change that's going on, you may find yourself in a little bit of an alligator Alcatraz. Bad people, this is the day for you. Now, if you're a good person and you're doing the right thing, I think you're going to be more than fine. I mean, I'm hoping that if people can be critical of some of the things that are happening, because, I'm critical of how some of these, I think they seem very staged because it seems very much like a movie, how, flashbangs and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, can't you do a little better? There's got to be a better way to do it than to be so scary and come in like you're an army trooper. I don't know. You got to tell me. But Rosie, she said some things that were, I got to tell you, they cut the budget of NOAA. Do you know about this big news? They cut the budget. Fino Dino saying there's big news with Russia tomorrow. Okay, that's something, right? We're waiting on that. Trump's talking tough. He's like, Putin's about to find out. This could be the thing. I've been worried about the market. I've been worrying about these things, but sometimes, I worry and things turn out to be good, not bad. So who knows? Who knows? There's something in the air. There's something in the air indeed. But Rosie blamed Trump. Let me just show this to you, okay? I'll read it to you. Flash floods are uneasily predicted. Rosie blaming President Trump, who ordered Doge to slash around 600 National Weather Service jobs, reducing the budget by about 10%. They say it's not the cause. Critics, including O'Donnell, argue these cuts weakened alert precision during the floods. The White House and forecasters claim the offices were adequately staffed. Now, here's the deal, guys and gals and aliens and whoever else is listening, ancient ones. This is like, they had 12 hours in order. There was notice. But I looked into this, and these flash floods, it doesn't matter how many people sometimes. So this is what she had to say. Let me just, I'll play it to you. I'll play it for you. And you can't blame the man for everything. I mean, I get it, you know. It's strange how the people that are in charge are saying things about this, using football references, and when Trump was asked, you know, where things failed, he said, you know, only an evil person would ask that question. I mean, I think it's a valid question, a valid concern. But let's take a listen to what Rosie says, okay?
And what a horror story in Texas. The flash floods in Texas, the Guadalupe River. 51 missing, 51 dead, more missing. Children at a camp. And you know, when the president guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering forecast abilities of the government, these are the results that we're going to start to see on a daily basis, because he's put this country in so much danger by his horrible, horrible decisions and this ridiculously immoral bill that he just signed into law. As Republicans cheered, people will die as a result, and they've started already. Shame on him. Shame on every GOP sycophant. Who's listening and following the disastrous decisions of this mentally incapacitated POTUS. Hard to believe.
Just strange, this lady. You know, she looks a lot like Velma. She really does. I mean, I think she does. Is it just me, or does she look a little bit like Velma? And it's like a Scooby-Doo adventure. You know, when these celebrities come on there and they say these things, you know, I feel like I feel deeply for all the loss of life and everything else. When you're on my end and you're constantly, you know, inundated with all of this horrible, shocking news, and you go to the Lord and you say, oh, you know, what can I find in this? When they come on and they say that they're, you know, they feel so bad, and just, it feels a little inauthentic to me. But everybody's entitled to their opinion, and they shouldn't get jokes. I mean, that would be scary. If I, like on X, I said something and Trump said, it would be very cool to be recognized publicly. You know, it would be, because that would mean that what I share here is being heard on a regular basis in very far reaches of the internet. But I'd be scared, like big time scared. So with all of this stuff, it's like, where do we go to McDonald's? How do we get to McDonald's? We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But this is a weird thing. He's writing, I mean, his posts are a little strange, you know, looking into, because of course he's taking the side of Bondi, looking into as AAG and much more. A year ago, the country was dead. Now it's the hottest. It's the hottest. What does he mean by that? Because I've been on this fire kick, right? We've had all this water, and historically, biblical floods are preceded by biblical fires. So I have this feeling that maybe we could see some of that on the horizon. The question is, have they learned from like the Maui fire and everything else? Now that the warning systems are cut, is that going to be the next thing? And then they're going to say the same thing, and they're going to double down on it, and they're going to blame Trump even more. But is that all part of this story that is playing out so that we as a people can come together and live a productive, joy-filled life? I trust that God's in charge. He said, let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on think of this. That's what he's saying. Now, take a look at that Economist magazine cover, okay? Because this is where the show gets very strange. When this Economist magazine cover came out, I got a little like, uh-oh, where's Trump? Why is there a vacuum, a huge Trump-sized vacuum? Why is Elon Musk's the biggest head on that cover? All of that happened before the split. I've told you the story of Nebuchadnezzar. And when he comes back, it's like a short time. It's a short time. It's cut short. So I worry I don't want to see any more shenanigans. I don't want to see any more swerves. I don't want to see any more. I want to see everybody coming together, and I want to try to envision good coming of this. I'm not going to do what Alex Jones and others are doing, where they're saying the only reason that he's doing this is because he's got the deep state on the ropes. You know, you hear the other side. You hear the Democrats too. They're saying, oh, they're like loving this. Oh, where are the files? Where are the files? And it's like, who had them before? That's the whole thing. It's like that party had it before. Why didn't they release it then? If they had such bad stuff on the Trumpster, wouldn't they have done that? He says there's nothing there. Does he know if there's nothing there? Is he being told that there's nothing there? I don't know. I'm sure there's something, right? I'm sure there's something. But this tells me something allegorically that is probably spelling a Trump-sized vacuum in the future. You know, either that or something a little more profoundly scary, like a more of a tyrannical type of a position, which I don't want to see. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see alligator Alcatraz coming to every city. I don't want to see people who are speaking out losing their citizenship. I don't want to see that. I want to see us coming together as a nation strong. People repent. Let them repent. If they're doing good, that's fine. But, you know, I have a wild imagination and I'm a writer, and I think to myself, wow, we got a lot of people here on a Sunday. Do me a favor. I don't think a lot of you hit the like yet. Yeah, barely any of you hit the like because I wasn't begging you. Please, 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 everybody do it now. Please. Please. I appreciate it. If you're watching it on a replay too, it still counts. You can leave a little comment too. It's so super helpful. It means a lot. Oh man, this is where it gets wild. Okay, let's have some fun. All right, Mickey D's, right? Mickey D's. Here we go. Are you ready for this? Now look, who here, tell me in a live chat, I'm looking right now, who knows that when Mickey D's puts out some weird things, I get some ideas of what could happen and then it happens. This has happened not once, not twice, not 3 times, like 4 or 5 times. It's happened a lot. The latest, do you want me to prove it to you? Let me prove it to you. Okay. Yesterday, Grimace, McDonald's, on a response to a tweet that was put out on April Fool's Day, show a piece of lore about yourself, came out with this. This is yesterday. I made a joke. I said, I think they're trolling me. Grimace used to be called Evil Grimace and had 4 arms to hold more shakes. That was yesterday. But the irony was they shared that information on a post from April 1st. If you look below Grimace's feet, you'll see April 1st. That's April Fool's Day. Now, between that post and Grimace's post, very strange. It's like 322. It's like in a roundabout way, like 3 months or something and 22 days, whatever it is. But here's the thing. Look, top left-hand corner of the screen. McDonald's puts out this, wait, who dis? And there was a Grimace lookalike competition tonight. And I said, looks like a missing persons poster. Remember, the Grimace was originally known as the Evil Grimace. You know, I've talked about the Evil Grimace with the 4 arms. I'm going to play a video. I'll show you. Very strange. Was originally known as the Evil Grimace. Doesn't that look like New York City? Be safe, New York City. And then what happens in New York City? Oh my goodness. Grimace on McDonald's put out on November 26th, the bottom of the page, this is my view of the parade. That was Grimace, and he was on a big red shoe. And then I wrote Grimace, first known as Evil Grimace Beast, on top is associated with shakeups in New York. And what happens? Within that perfect amount of time, Louis Mangione, taken into custody at, guess where? Pennsylvania. But what happened? This was the year of the assassin, remember? The year of the assassin was last year was the Olympics in France. They had the Assassin's Creed, the whole opening ceremony. And how many have we had? Right? How many have we had of these events? How do they know? They really called the year, huh? What, have they got like a storyboard? on the background or something. Strange. First known as Evil Grimm. So there you go. It's weird, but it gets a lot weirder. It gets so much weirder. So much weird. Let me show you some of these, okay? Let me show you some of these. Let me just pull this over. Get rid of Rosie. All right, so here we go. Test complete, power outage, Spain, France, Portugal. Do you remember? Exactly 33 days from my post about a major blackout coming in the repost. You look at the repost, March 26th. Here we go. Today, Elon posted, this is a test. 1 year, 1 month, 2 days after my video about it. A coming communication blackout or power out. Wonder if we will hear of such, not to mention he got that from me. This, and you take a look, you'll see this is a test. That was from me. I came up with that. This is a test. He's done it. He did it twice. So the second time he did it, when he did it here, it reminded me of the video I did when he did it here. And I said, uh-oh, last time that happened, there was a big blackout. I think it's coming. But why? Well, I'll show you why. And then here's the blackout that hit. Do you remember this? I mean, that's very strange. 33 days. 33 days. It was huge. Now, but here's why. It was a repost to this right here with this video, with his McDonald's. Here, I'm going to play that for you, okay? Make sure that the music is up and everything, and you can hear it okay.
And also on 222, McDonald's launched its dark twin, McDonald's, to celebrate all of the anime characters and all of the anime shows that have changed the letter of McDonald's to McDonald's to avoid being sued. You can meet the characters here at the website. The only characters.
Now, no word on what could be causing this outage this morning. A lot of people saying that it started around midnight East Coast time, which around midnight East Coast time.
It's weird, man. It's totally weird. Totally sus. So that was that, and that was the reason. So here you see today Elon posted this as a test, and you take a look. It's just wild. This is how I put these things together. But that's not all. Let's take a look at this one over here, okay? Let's get rid of this. Do you remember the where I put out this little post right here? Come on. I don't know why I saw this. I saw 5.5, thought of a huge earthquake. They were introducing their new dipping sauce. So I wrote, earthquake test. A calm for time travelers, but Lord, when it happens, let the news of it be far worse than it actually will be. I take no pleasure in that. And thank God, guess what happened? It was a huge one. Everybody thought it was going to, destroy, the tsunami was going to destroy Chile. Everybody was worried. I said no because of that old post. That's why I thought of a tsunami and a warning. I said, let the news of it be worse. But look at that huge earthquake that happened, and guess where? Chile. And what was the dipping sauce? It was a creamy, chipping, chili dipping sauce. That's weird. That's coincidental. Exactly 8 days from my repost. But that's not all. Let's go on to another one. Okay? Do you remember that time that I predicted a landslide? So stupid, right? So stupid. May 25th, because of this right here, I thought it looked like a landslide or something, or like a volcano or something, I think. I said, McDonald's post freaks me out. Looks like boulders, volcano, or some mountain. Landslide vibes. Something. Just, I don't see a clever ad anymore. I see more. And more there was. I mean, it doesn't get any more than this. Remember this terrible landslide of rocks and boulders? Crazy. Let's look at that. What are the odds? That whole village? The whole village. And it was like a weird name of the town. Like the weird name that was on the bag. Awful. Awful. This is why I started saying that maybe they're time travelers. Swiss village, almost entirely destroyed after collapse of glacier buries it in mud. Terrible. And here was the ad. Fririn. I don't know. I don't know anything about Switzerland or the Swiss. I don't know anything about those mountains, but that kind of looks like a weird name. Landslide. Landslide vibes. How many days? 8 days? Come on. Come on. There's something going on. Something going on. Strange. Another prediction comes true. But that's not all. Hang on. Let's think about McDonald's to begin with. A lot of people say that this guy, Robert Raymond Kroc, is the man behind McDonald's. They think that he is the bad guy. They think that he's connected to all that stuff. Mainly because, golden arches are found in the secret societies and the halls of Freemason lodges and all of that jazz. And the fact that he put a lot of money into the Nixon campaign, had very, very big-time ties with the government. But this lacks a lot of evidence, they say. There's not a lot of evidence that the McDonald's people are connected. But there's something weird, The fact that I've talked about Grimace being called the evil Grimace for so long, and now all of a sudden they put it out after I said, this is where it gets a little weird, right? Because they put out this snack wrap, okay? Now, listen. When people ask you, what does Jacob Israel talk about? Don't say, you gotta watch him. A McDonald's ad, and he'll say there's gonna be a tsunami, and it happens. Don't say that, because it sounds really ridiculous. But I mean, come on. It's fun to speculate, right? Jesus said, you shall know the signs of the times by the things that are happening. You'll know what's coming by the moment that you're in. You can know what the weather's like by the sun today, the sky today. So why not pay attention to the signs? After all, McDonald's was a sign. This is your sign. See what I'm saying? Perhaps there is some secret communication going on behind the scenes, but this is where it gets weird, because they put out this snack wrap thing, and immediately I saw where it says McDonald's says setting my alarm right now. I thought fire alarm when I read it. I don't know why. I think subconsciously I looked at him holding up that snack wrap in his hand, and I believe that I saw him holding a lighter. I could be wrong. Kind of just looked that way to me. What do you think? If you think it does, will you hit the like? Believe me, it does help. Don't be one of those people like, no, I don't want to X out and do it. I don't like when you ask all the time. Listen, it's helpful. It takes a second. It's free. I put a lot of work into this. You don't have to pay for it, Thank you for watching the ads, too, if you do, instead of just skipping on through. So anyway, I put it out and I said, hear me out. And then what do? They put out, one day later, I made this for you. They put fiery phoenix wings. What does a phoenix do? A phoenix rises again. Interesting. Through fire. Interesting. God promises that the last judgment will not be with floods anymore, but with fire. Now, let me explain to you what the fire is and what the water is. Now, the water is the word of God. You're supposed to be baptized into the water of God. I've explained on other shows that while there was probably a great deluge that really literally happened, we learned something from it spiritually. The flood came when people were very, very wicked. Things were very, very, bad at the time. Look at the camp, the name of the camp, Mystic. Camp Mystic, from the mist of the Guadalupe River. Guadalupe is the name for Mary. It's synonymous with it. All the Mary worship that goes on. They do sacraments there. This horrible, terrible thing that happened. All of these people that have lost their lives, these children. It's heartbreaking. What can we learn from it? Do we need to point fingers and everything else? Sometimes terrible things happen. I have news for you. Everyone is going to die. At least once. And then what comes? The judgment. And the judgment is right now. Because the first death isn't just physically dying. The first death is the death to the truth of God. The first death. That's why Jesus called the Pharisees twice dead. You get what I'm saying? That's why the second death doesn't hurt us as much. Those that have gone through the first death, when the second death comes on the scene, doesn't hurt us as much. When we physically die, we understand this is not the end. This is not the end. And we also understand that all of our experiences are forming us and molding us and getting us to where we need to go. The reason why the world is suffering right now through birth pangs is because something is being birthed. The fire that comes purifies the impurities. Water, I mean, you got to boil water to get the impurities out. But fire is what gets out the impurity. Christ comes as a consuming fire. Christ, what is Christ? The power and wisdom of God. The power and wisdom of God, who is called love. The power and wisdom found in love is a consuming fire. And until you enter into that rest, but the people are, they're foolish, they refuse to. There's going to be events like this. It's going to continue to happen. It's a cleansing period. It's sad. It's terrible. And unfortunately, while this big cosmic important thing is happening in all of our lives and around the world, people are focused on the stuff that the system wants you to focus on. Right? And why wouldn't you? Because it's so ridiculous. I'm going to kick you out of the country, Rosie. I mean, it's like a TV show, and it's been set up. It's been set up. I mean, if you think about all the key players, Rosie and Trump, there was season 1, season 2, season 3. We're probably in like season 17 by now. That was a Q joke for all of you. I'm not into that stuff, by the way, but I find it fascinating. How about Megyn Kelly? Megyn Kelly's now a big voice, right? She's having problems with Pam Bondi, and people are saying all sorts of things about her, but she's been around. Remember her and Trump? The whole thing. Anybody connected to Trump ends up becoming a star in the end. This is a great story, but I think we may have a Trump-sized vacuum if something doesn't change. And if that happens, oh my goodness gracious. I think it's going to be one of those... We're all going to be ruled by AI. It's going to be Grok watching everything. And that's where it's going. This is a 2030 agenda. We got 5 years to get there, people. So this is how we get there. And is this something that you got to worry about? No. What you should worry about is your relationship with your family, your friends, doing the best job you can at work, being productive, being giving, being compassionate, speaking the truth in love, not tearing down and attacking nonstop. I got to work on that too because I get so angry. Like if you didn't see my last show, I posted, it's a video, very short one. You should check it out. It was pretty good. Showed everybody the fig tree. There's so many figs on it. But I got these little lantern bugs that we're supposed to kill. They're like a plague, an infestation that comes out. So little by little, I'm squishing them. They're not a good thing to have because they're called the tree of heaven bug, by the way. They're drawn to this invasive tree of heaven, which has a pungent smell. Travis he was doing research into this too, just like me. And the fig tree, the tree of heaven and the fig tree is its favorite tree because of the fruit. So you don't think that, if you're doing good, you don't think that fig tree is going to go through some suffering, right? Mine has gone through so much over the years. So what's wrong with having a couple of bugs that I got to squash now? Squash the bugs in your life. Get them off the tree. Make sure you're watering it, taking care of it. Let it get good sunlight. Talk to it, lift it up, encourage it, say you're doing great. Doesn't matter if your branches are breaking and falling apart. You're doing good. You look good. You feel good. Be good. That's the way it is. All right, listen. I got to get out of here. This was a fun show. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I don't know. You got to tell me in the comment section if you think that these McDonald's coincidences are a little more. But if there's some kind of terrible fires that just starts happening, because it would be in the hottest country in the world. Get that? See what I'm saying? That's where my mind went. And God forbid that happen. Let's say no. Let's say that it doesn't happen. Okay? Let's say that the real fire is going to be the fire of the Lord, which is going to come down and it's going to burn our dross away. That's what God does. He holds you like a silversmith over the hottest part of the flame. If this is the flame, he holds you right over it, the hottest part, until it all bubbles up, all the crap in your life, it bubbles to the surface, and you'll find yourself. I want to make you feel better, because you may be really trying to live a good life, really trying really hard, and then you find yourself, you're short-tempered, and you swear, you say, flippity flarn, or something. You say, oh, fiddlesticks. I don't know what naughty words you use. But you find yourself doing it because it's bubbling to the surface. And if it bothers you that you say those things, if it bothers you that maybe you're, drinking more than you should, or smoking cigarettes when you know you shouldn't, or like if it bothers you, these things that you're still doing, that you're still struggling with, that's a sign that they're going away. It wouldn't bother you if they were sticking around. You're stressed out about your bills, you're stressed out about your jobs, you're stressed out about all this stuff. Don't stress. I'll read you. Every chapter starts with a poem. They think they know, and yet with hate in their hands they sow prejudice, greed, fear, shame, and more. They think they know, but into the land of promise the blind and the arrogant will never go, because they have forgotten I, the Lord, want love and nothing more. They think they know, telling others this is the way you must go, and damning anyone who doesn't. They believe they are God, refusing to leave the land of Nod, because the law of love to them simply wasn't. Sadly, my truth they forgot. And so now they must know until they love. If they ask to bask in my glory from above, my answer to them will be, you may not. Every chapter starts with a poem that's related to, and the story it's fire. So get yourself a copy. Go to Amazon.com. Get a copy today. I believe it's on sale, too. You can get it for less than the $18 that it's on sale for or whatever. And go into the links in the description. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you're a member of Patreon. Let's get together. You see, I even posted the thumbnail before everybody there. Become a channel member. We're over 50 channel members now. All the things that you do to support this channel, God bless you.